Now, 9 people are looking for a place to stay after a fire tore through several homes in Modesto. The flames started around 5 o'clock this morning and quickly spread. CBS 13 photojournalist Dave Grasshoff has more.
Yeah, everything is pretty quiet right now. Unfortunately, right behind me, you have 3 homes that are uninhabitable and then 1 house that was under construction that is completely burnt to the ground and totally destroyed. Call came out around 5:25 this morning. Crews arrived on scene to 4 structures on fire, and this quickly went to a 4-alarm fire.
Because of the construction age of the buildings, made it difficult for us once the fire got established into those buildings. Just real manpower intensive and labor intensive to chase fire around and the exposure buildings on either side of the building, the main fire building.
Yeah. One lady who was in one of the homes telling me she heard someone banging on her door telling her to get out. She woke her kids and they got out safely. 9 people total have been displaced, 2 people evaluated but refused treatment. An estimated loss sits around $1.4 million. Some of the challenges in fighting this fire?
Crews did a great job. It was a long night for us. Many of the crews that were operating out here this morning had multiple fires yesterday. Everybody was up. It was a significantly busy night for us. So.
The good news in this fire that went to 4 alarms is nobody was injured. All firefighters were okay in battling this blaze. Back over to you in the studio.
And again, that was Terminal Avenue in Modesto.
Okay, starting with this image, the telephone pole here that's on fire. You're going to see when they show it from another angle, it only burned on one side of this telephone pole, just a strip going up the side of the phone pole that's facing us. And you can see these flames going all the way up it. They show a little bit of a closer close-up. And remember, these are screen captures of a video that they took. They have the video of this telephone pole and this palm tree on fire, but they didn't want to show the video. They showed the still frames for a reason. These still frames are being chosen by people back in the studio who know what we're looking at, who know as much about this stuff that I call plasma fire as I do. They probably don't call it plasma fire, they probably call it something else, but there's a reason that they chose not to show us the video, or people would look at this and see the flaming telephone pole and the flaming palm tree and those flames moving and go, wait a minute, what the hell's going on here? How come the palm fronds down below are unburned and the palm fronds up above are unburned? You'll see that in a better shot that they give us here in a second. So this is just another shot, same exact picture. You can see the flames coming up off the top here, the top of the pole. Remember, sometimes plasma fire burns the opposite. Most fire burns from the bottom up and the outside in. Plasma fire often burns from the top down and the inside out. This is a closer up image that they gave us. This isn't that I cropped it in. This was actually one of the scenes from the news report, a little bit closer of an image showing that telephone pole and the flames on it. And they probably paused the video in a spot where you could see the flames pretty clearly. There's probably other screenshots they could have taken from the video where you can't see the flames as much because they come and go, flickering in and out. And they could have not put these still frames in here at all. So they are putting this in here for those that can see to be able to see. But they're not going to show you the video because then a lot more of the average people who can't see would be able to see and go, wait a minute, what the hell's going on there? It looks like something had to do with electricity. Is PG&E responsible for this? And guaranteed all 4 of these homes burned from the inside out and they started simultaneously. I think that's just me cropping in the image that they gave us to see of the palm tree. This one is one that they gave us. I don't think this is me cropping it in. Maybe the other ones were me cropping it in. This is one where it's not me cropping it in. They gave us 2 images during that 1 minute 30 second news clip of this telephone pole burning, and they show us an image from the other side where you can clearly see it's just one stripe of burned area going up this telephone pole or power pole, whichever it is. I just took all the screenshots that they gave us, and I can't say exactly what in this one might be an indicator of anything. That looks like metal scaffolding to the right. Looks like maybe an unburned piece of foliage on there on the wood, so that one really doesn't give me many plasma fire or any plasma fire indicators. However, this one gives me at least two. This piece of wood is unburned right here, but burned on the bottom all around. And the fact that it's highly charcoaled on this side, I'm sorry, unburned on that side, highly charcoaled on this side, is one of the telltale signs of plasma fire. And it's not very telltale sign, it's pretty freaking obvious. This one over here, it's burned on both sides, but you could say, well, the top, the roof, the shingling protected the top. Okay, I'll give you that. But there's a replication of this pattern here that we see in just a moment. This pattern where it's unburnt on the right and burnt on the left, but solidly burnt on the bottom, it's flipped upside down here in a moment. Same image. In fact, let's skip over to that now. Let's find that image. There we go. This one's solidly burnt on the top. And then here, again, it's unburnt on the right, charcoal on the left. Unburnt here, charcoal here, a straight line going up it, delineating the charcoaled part from the completely unburnt part. Smelling what I'm smoking? Or was it same? So this is one of the repetitive patterns that you can see in plasma fire that you can see twice here in this particular plasma fire. I'm not sure if I'm able to spot anything specifically in these other ones. If they gave us a little bit better shot, it looks like the underside of this rafter right here is unburned. But I can't say for positive. Looks like the underside right here is unburned and the outer surface of it is charcoaled. But I'd need a better shot to be able to show you that for sure. But it does appear that way. When you look, you can see what looks like to be raw wood there, raw wood under there, raw wood under there. And like that lady said, suddenly someone just started banging on her door, telling her to get out. So she woke her kids up and left. She didn't even know her house was on fire. They all started simultaneously, and you can see from the imagery, they didn't burn from the outside in. They burned from the inside out. And these holes in the roof, well, that one's got pretty good extensive burning on the outside. But if you look, you'll see, guaranteed, it wasn't that one house started on fire and then an ember or some flames went over and licked the outside of the other house and started it on fire from the outside, and then that house led over to the next house and caught it on fire, and it wasn't a chain reaction, one leading to the next in a daisy chain. All four started simultaneously, and the fires burned primarily inside. And the external burning that you see is minor compared to the internal burning. I guarantee. That's how this stuff works. Here, you can see this telephone pole has a burnt strip on this side and is unburnt on this side. The angle that we were looking at it from before, when we could see the flames, the camera was, The camera was stationed over here, looking that direction. And you can also see that the palm fronds are unburned down here and unburned up here, relatively by comparison to the middle. The trunk, these trunks, how can the trunk, that hard type of wood, that core wood, which is old palm fronds that have been broken off, that stuff does not burn as easy as these loose leaf palm fronds here and here. But you could see it on fire, and the only thing that burned was the middle part. This remained unburned. This remained unburned. Because this middle part was burning in a very similar fashion as this pole right here. So the electricity was going up the pole, just like the electricity was going up the palm tree. And you can clearly see the strip on one side of the pole going all the way up. If they would have showed us video of that pole burning and then wrapped the camera around the pole so you could see it's only burning on that one side, a little strip going all the way up, it looked like that scene from Back to the Future where he left two tire marks that were both flaming. It would look like a flaming tire mark going up the side of this telephone pole. Oops, I kind of touched the screen over there with my pinky. Just up that side. Nothing over here. This is where they pan down. I took like 3 screenshots. They started up at the top where you could see the top of the palm tree, and they pan down and down further. Now you can see all the foliage at the bottom of the palm tree that didn't burn, but the top and the middle of it you can see right there. Even the stalk of the palm tree is unburned right here. The burning starts right about here and goes up. If this caught on fire because of the house that's on fire, why didn't all the palm fronds that are down below in this area catch fire? Because plasma fire often starts from the top down and inside out rather than the bottom up and outside in. And you can see the guy on the ground here spraying a hose up at the palm tree, up at the part that burned. So the people in the newsroom know what they're seeing, what they're showing, and what not to show. And the holes in the roof that you see over here in this one, I think there's a better shot of the holes in the roof somewhere. Maybe I missed the screenshot where they show that. Maybe I didn't capture it. Those holes in the roof, I think most of that is the firefighters. They jump up on top of the roof and punch holes in the roof and stick their hoses down in. I watched them do it on my neighbor's house, whose house caught plasma fire and gave us some very good evidence thereof. So now that you see all the plasma fire indicators, now you see what I mean. The camera angle is from this side looking at that telephone pole with the palm tree on the left. And if they would have circled the camera around to the front of the house while leaving it rolling and showed you the video, you'd see that strip going up the telephone pole burning on one side, and it would be eye-opening to the average person who can't see plasma fire. And they would start to ask questions. They'd say, it must have come in. That's what must have happened. The electricity must have come in off this line, power line or telephone pole line, went down into the ground and into the house. People would start to see things if you showed them that. That's why they showed you a still frame, not the video. Because this is a still frame from a video. They didn't bust out their camera and start taking still frames. That's a screenshot of a video, and they decided to just give you the screenshot Just enough for someone who can see what we're looking at here. Instead of Queer Eye for the straight guy, this feels like an episode of Keen Eye for the normie. Let's watch this one more time.
Now 9 people are looking for a place to stay after a fire tore through several homes in Modesto. The flames started around 5 o'clock this morning and quickly spread. CBS 13 photojournalist Dave Grasshoff has more.
Yeah, everything is pretty quiet right now. Unfortunately, right behind me, you have 3 homes that are uninhabitable, and then one house that was under construction that is completely burnt to the ground and totally destroyed. Call came out around 5:25 this morning. Crews arrived on scene to 4 structures on fire, and this quickly went to a 4-alarm fire.
Because of the construction age of the buildings, made it difficult for us once the fire got established into those buildings. Just real manpower intensive and labor intensive to chase fire around in the exposure buildings on the other side of the building, the main fire building.
Yeah. One lady who was in one of the homes telling me she heard someone banging on her door telling her to get out. She woke her kids and they got out safely. 9 people total have been displaced, 2 people evaluated but refused treatment. An estimated loss sits around $1.4 million. Some of the challenges in fighting this fire?
Crews did a great job. It was a long night for us. Many of the crews that were operating out here this morning had multiple fires yesterday. Everybody was up. It was a significantly busy night for us. So
the good news in this fire that went to 4 alarms is nobody was injured. All firefighters were okay in battling this blaze. Back over to you in the studio.
And again, that was Terminal Avenue in Modesto.
I just want to give a big shout out and a thank you to the AI for recommending that last video from Modesto, the 4 house fires. It knows that I'm the only one documenting this history in the making as it's happening, so it feeds me these things, and I just want to say thank you, AI. This next video is about a mine explosion in California that they say happened because of a static electricity buildup that may have been caused by some power tools they were using. Yeah, that's it.
Tonight, 2 people are in the hospital after they were critically hurt when explosives went off in a Placer County mine. The Forest Hill Fire Protection District says they received a call about an explosion around 9:45 this morning at a mine in the Tahoe National Forest along Mosquito Ridge Road near Gorman Ranch. ABC 10's Garshpal Sangha has details on what officials say might have caused the devastating explosion.
The main roads in the area are back open after they were closed for 6+ hours, as officials initially said they were looking into a critical incident. A mine explosion in Placer County, critically wounding 2 people.
Partner heard a boom and then people calling for help.
Dispatch audio capturing the initial call for service.
There's a male that's bleeding a lot.
Investigators say 2 people were working in the mine at the time of the explosion Friday morning near Mosquito Ridge Road and Gorman Ranch.
I came upon one patient with major to critical injuries, and they were notified of a second patient that was further down the hill about 200 feet.
Both miners were taken to the hospital by helicopter, and their current condition is unknown. Investigators say their initial investigation found evidence showing tools operated in the mine may have created static electricity, causing nearby explosives to ignite. Investigation continues.
They found evidence that the tools may have caused static electricity. In other words, they don't know. That's what their investigation concludes, is that it's inconclusive, but maybe these tools they were using created static buildup. So there's some sort of indicator that electricity was involved, and you're calling that static electricity, and you're indicating that it must have been a result of the use of the power tools. Probably had something to do with plasma fire phenomenon. Even if it was static electricity buildup, it maybe happens in the environment that we're in, under the ionized sky, as Ilana Freeland's book is titled. When we're in an electrically charged environment, this is what Jay Dreamer says happens, that you want to be very careful in things that you touch, because there's a buildup of electricity on everything in the environment. So you like touch it with a metal rod first and that you can let go of, and touch it with the back of your hand and not the front of your hand, so when you start to clench your fist, you don't grab onto the thing that's electrifying you, that kind of thing. But this increased electricity, the electrified environment that we're in, may lead to things like static electricity buildup. And we may have to implement new protocols and procedures for safety accordingly.